Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your girl Bianca G, and in today's video we will be doing a little story time. So I'm halfway doing my makeup already, and I was like, you know what, I've never done a story time. Why don't I go ahead and give my subscribers a little story time? So I'm gonna do story time as I'm finishing up my makeup. Like I said, I was already in the middle, so don't mind me, just ignore me. But so I decided to do this story time because I know a lot of my subscribers know where I come from, like what city, and that city sometimes had really creepy people. So my story time today is about a time when this was like a long time ago, where I used to live with my mom. I think I was like 16 when I moved into that place with my mom. So, anyways, so we lived in an apartment building where it was so weird. It was like downstairs was like a basement, but it was practically like your garage and you would park your car. So like it was weird because like when you would come, like the apartment was right here, right? And this was like the whole apartment, but the apartment was like sideways, right? So when you would come from the street, the big street, you would have to go in and then go down, and then you park. Like all the parkings were like this. So then we would park down, and then once you were walking up, it was like one apartment, and then you would walk to the front of the building and it had stairs, and that was like the third level, not the second level. So the second level was before that, so I should have explained that again. So first you're walking up and it's one apartment, and then it had like a little small stairs, and then it was two more apartments. And then if you came back down, you passed that one apartment that's right there, go back this way towards the outside of the street, it was another stair. So that was like basically the third level, right? And then once you go up that level, there was only two apartments, which was the first one and then the second one where my mom and I lived. And then once you pass our window apartment, it was another level. So to me, basically, that was like a 4 level apartment building. Five, with the downstairs basement being like the garage. So in that apartment building, the first apartment, as soon as you're walking up, the only one that's not like leveled out in any levels, like the first level, um it was actually right next to the mailboxes. So that apartment was always empty. Like, I don't know what would happen. Like, people wouldn't last there. I don't know, for whatever reason. Like, ever since we moved there, I remember that apartment would always be empty. So one time, I remember us seeing like, I want to say they were Indians. I'm not sure. They were for sure not Hispanic, for sure not white, and for sure not African American. Like, it was just like different, right? So we seen them, and of course, like I'm telling you guys, the parking was down there. So I would, either me or my mom would park down there. So one time I was walking up, and you have to pass their apartment, to get to my apartment. So I see there's like 3 kids, like a lady and like 2 men, and they're like putting stuff inside the apartment, and I'm over here like minding my business. Mind you, the mailbox is right next to that apartment, right? So I start opening my mailbox, checking my mail, and I walk upstairs. As I'm walking upstairs, I can hear them like talking to each other in their language. And I did notice, like, so one of the guys comes out, and he's like looking at me, like he's looking up, and he's like, hi, like weird, and I was like, oh, hi, and I just walked. If you know me, I'm not the type to like talk to you if you're like older, because to me it's like kind of weird, like especially like, those old señores that are always trying to hit on you. Like, I hate that. Like, I hate that. So I always try to avoid it. So I just kind of like, oh, hi, and then walked inside my apartment and mind my business, and that was it, right? So then the next time, so that night I told my mom, like, hey, I think we have new neighbors, and then I was like, I think they're like a big family. And in my head, the whole time I was thinking like, well, that's a 1 bedroom apartment, like there was like 10 people there. But in my head, I was just like, oh, that, it happens. Sometimes you live with 10 people in a one bedroom. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So then the next day, I see the same guy again. And this time I seen him because when I was going down to park my car, he was parked in my parking. So I didn't get mad or anything because I was just like, oh, they're new. They probably don't even know where their parking is at, or maybe they're just using it because they're gonna unload. Like I was not mad at all whatsoever. So then I was kind of like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll just park outside. So I backed up because this parking spot when you're going down is like really narrow, like only one car fits, and you have to be really careful. So I back up and I go park outside, right? Okay, so then that was like at 12. So then it's like I want to say maybe like 6, 7, and I was like, okay, maybe they're done by now, and maybe I could bring my car back inside. So I go, and no, they're still parked there. So I was like, that's fine, like I'm not even gonna say nothing. They're using it, it's fine. They're probably unloading it. At this point, I didn't know exactly what they were doing. I was just assuming that. So then then I was like, oh, whatever. I didn't even tell them anything. I just saw their car was still parked in my parking. So I was like, all right, whatever. So then the next day, I went to work and I came back. So I go to work early and I came back like around 3, and there was a different car parked. So I'm like, oh, I wonder whose car this is. Like, I don't know whose car that is, And I called my mom and I was like, hey, someone's parked in our parking. And she's like, well, why don't you find out who it is? And then maybe it's the people, maybe they have a different car. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So then I went and I knocked, and the lady that opened the door, I think was his wife. But she was really, really young, So I assumed she was like maybe the daughter, but turns out to be it was the wife. So then she answers the door, and I'm like, hey, I'm not sure if you guys are done moving yet, but like that my parking is down there, and yesterday I noticed you guys were busy, so it's fine. I just wanted to know if that's your car too. And so she's like, are you really making a big deal because I parked down there? And basically like kind of like going crazy on me, but like in Spanish, because mind you, like she didn't know English. So I don't know, it was weird because the day when they barely moved in, it was a different lady. And remember how I told you guys, like I can tell they were not Hispanic, they were not white, and they were not African American. So I felt like they were like natives. I don't know. So she starts speaking to me in Spanish and she's cussing me out, you guys. So at that point, I was just like, why is this lady cussing me out? Because I'm asking her if she's parked in my parking, So then, whatever. So then I was like, you know what? I was like, I just need you to move your car at this point, because I was being really nice to you because you guys were moving. And then now you're like cussing me out because you're parked in my parking, So anyways, she finally, like her husband came out and he was like, oh, what's the problem? And he doesn't speak Spanish. So then I'm like, you know what? You guys have been parked in my parking. I haven't minded. I haven't said anything. And you get the fact that you guys are still like parking there and she's being rude to me. I was like, to me, that's really disrespectful. And I was like, and I'm not going to be nice about it anymore. I was like, I was being really nice because I saw you guys had a bunch of kids and I figured you guys were probably still unloading. I was like, but the fact that she cussed me out right now, I'm not okay with that. So then he's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. It's because we're trying to fix like the oil in my car. I'm like, so you mean to tell me like you can't park in your parking? Oh, they didn't tell us where our parking was at and blah, blah. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, how do they not tell you? Like, okay, so let's go back. Our manager there didn't live in the premises. The manager would come and collect the rent. It wasn't even a manager. It was the owner. He would come and collect the rent on the first. You would have to put it on his mailbox or whatever. So I kind of like was like, oh, okay, maybe they didn't really tell him his parking, So then he's like, yeah, they didn't tell us. I'm sorry. Do you know where these people used to park? I'm like, yeah, they used to park there. And then he's like, okay. So anyway, so then he goes and parks there and they finally stopped parking in my parking, right? So then months later, and we never, like, I would see the lady and I would just not even look at her because, like, she had already pissed me off, right? So I would see her and I would just bypass her, you know, like I said, the mailbox was right next to their house. So I would just keep walking towards my house, you know? And so one day, so months had passed, right? Months. And so I noticed that every time I would walk up the stairs, like, they never opened their blinds. They always had their door closed. Mind you, we had like a screen door, so you were able to have like one door open and the other one closed, right? It was always dark. So I was just like, damn, I wonder if they moved, you know? Because I would hardly see them too. So then one day, I was getting groceries out of my trunk. So I kind of like parked, like, you know how I tell you guys when you had to go in the driveway, it was like a downhill. So I kind of just stayed like this. I didn't go all the way down. So I'm taking down the groceries and taking them upstairs, you know, like everyone did that there. Like if you lived there, you would do that, right? Like sometimes just leave it there and then, oh, I forgot something in my house, let me go get it, you know? So we all knew, and mind you, this building was only like 8 apartments, so we all knew each other. So I'm getting groceries out or whatever, and then she said something like I was blocking her. So I'm upstairs, right? And my mom was inside and I was the one going up and down bringing the groceries, and my mom was just putting them away in the fridge. So one of the times my mom like walked out, I guess, to see like if I needed more help, or I don't remember what the case was, but she just happened to look out, you know, and it was like a little balcony, like not a balcony, like a rail. So she just looked out and the lady starts like cussing my mom out. Oh my God, you guys, I freaking lost my shit. Like, I'm sorry, but you are not gonna cuss my mom out. Like, mind you, we had a history with that lady, me and her. So then I'm like, and she starts cussing her out in Spanish too. And you guys, I've told you guys plenty of times that my Spanish and my English is horrible, like, because I always like mix it, right? And this lady didn't understand no English, okay? Like whatsoever. So I just hear my mom saying, no, but if you know my mom, you know my mom's not the type to like, she doesn't like confrontation. Like, she's not the type to be there and fighting with someone. Like, she just tries the best possible way to avoid a situation like that. So then I just hear her saying like, no, pero ahorita lo vamos a ver or something. So basically I come out and I'm like, Mom, what the hell's happening? You know, like, why is she cussing you out? Oh, because she said that her kids are playing there and you're blocking it, like the car. And I was just explaining to her that we're taking out groceries. And she pretty much said like, well, she needs to park down there because my kids are playing and this is their space and da-da-da. So I come out and I'm like, excuse me. I looked at her and I said, excuse me. And I was up, you know, I was about to walk down and I'm like, you're not going to cuss my mom out. I was like, no le vas a faltar respeto a mi mamá y tus hijos pueden jugar adentro. Este no es un lugar para que estén jugando because cars are passing by. So first of all, that's dangerous. How can you allow that, you know? So I pretty much, for all my English people, I pretty much told her like, excuse me, first of all, you're not going to cuss my mom out and you're not going to disrespect her. And second of all, that's not a place for kids to play. Like, cars are constantly coming in and out, you know? So I was like, I don't think that's a safe place. It's your choice, but I don't think that's a safe place. But you're not going to cuss my mom out because of that. And I was like, and you're going to wait until I'm done with my groceries. And when I'm done, I'll go and I'll park my car. So, oh my God, this freaking lady, dude, she lost her shit when I told her that. And she was like, pinche puta pendeja, vas a ver, le voy a decir al manager, porque tú siempre haces lo que tú quieres. Una vez me sacaste de mi parking. And I'm looking at her like, damn, the audacity, you guys. She said that I took her out of her parking when that was my parking. Like, oh my God, you guys. I remember I was so pissed. Like, you know, when you're just so pissed and you can feel like every single bloodstream in your body just boiling. Like, oh my God, you guys, I was so freaking pissed. So then I'm like, first of all, I'm like, ese no era tu parking, ese es mi parking. Y yo te dejé parquearte ahí por tus chamacos y porque ustedes estaban moviendo. But don't get it twisted, you know? And she's like, pinche puta tú y tu pinche perra madre. And oh, hell no, you guys. If you guys are my Hispanic people, y'all know that you do not call like other people perras, like unless you're like playing around, but do not call somebody else's mother a perra, because that is the most disrespectful thing you can ever do. Don't call my mom any names, period, because it wasn't even my mom, the one that was parked there. It was me. If you're gonna talk shit to me, and trust me, I will gladly talk shit back to you, but do not talk shit to my mom. So at this point, I'm like going downstairs because I was already pissed, and my mom was like, "No, Bianca, don't even do nothing. Like, ya déjala, like just go park your car." And I was like, "No, fuck no. She's not gonna talk to me like that, and definitely she's not gonna talk to you like that." So I'm like, "What did you say?" And then she's like, "Si me vienes a pegar, le voy a hablar a la policía porque yo tengo aquí a mis hijos." And I was like, oh my God, because that's basically like child endangerment if you get down with someone and their kids are there. So whatever. So then, of course, I know my law. So I was like, whatever. And I was like, well, you know what? Next time, don't be talking shit to my mom because I'm the one that's parked there. Si le vas a decir algo, dímelo a mí y dímelo a mi cara. No me estés gritando from down there. Por eso te vine a hablar aquí frente a frente. I was like, don't freaking be yelling at me from down there just because I'm up there. Know that I'm going to come down and I'm going to confront you about it. And she practically was like, pinche puta. And then she fucking closed her door and went inside. And I was like, oh my God, you guys. I was like, oh. So at this point, my mom was really cool, like with the owner. He was like a young guy, but he was like super cool because I think he liked the fact that my mom would always give him the rent like before. Like she never gave him problems, nothing. So I was like, Mom, I'm about to call him and I'm about to tell him that these people are freaking nuts. Like we've never had problems here. Like I said, you guys, we had been living there since I was 16. And I think at that time I was like 21, maybe 20 or 21. I don't remember, but I was already driving. So I'm sure I was like past 18 for sure. Most definitely I was past 18. So then I was like, I don't care, Mom. I'm going to call him and I'm going to tell him that what the fuck? Like, he better fucking give them a warning about parking in my parking when I was being fucking generous. You guys, so whatever, Mom. I was like, no, let's not create problems. We don't want that. And I was like, well, I didn't want problems either, but they're the ones that are being disrespectful, So she's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to talk to him or whatever. So I'm like, all right, Mom. You guys, I love this blush, the Mario. So then, whatever, that happened, right? You guys, and just remembering this, like, boils my blood. Like, I even got, like, goosebumps because I was so pissed that day, okay? So then, you guys, when this all happened, I used to work a night shift, right? So I would literally I would finish my work at midnight and get home, like, at 12:30 or 1, depending how busy our day was. So one day, a couple months passed again. And one day I was coming home from work and it was like 1. Because, you know what? For sure I was 21 because I would stop by and buy like a tall can after work and just drink it at my house. Like nobody, just me drinking by myself until I would fall asleep. Because I would work nighttime so I wouldn't get that sleepy. So I remember, getting home and it was like close to 1, really close to 1. And then, the guy, the husband was parked in my parking. And so he was there in his car. So I was like, hey, your wife last time gave me a bunch of shit. I was like, she was talking shit to me like a couple months ago, and mind you, I wouldn't really see him or her. Remember I told you guys, like, it was like they would always have their doors closed or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell your wife's problem is. I don't know if she's your wife, whatever it is. I was like, but she's not going to talk to me or my mom like that. And then you guys think that it's okay to park in my parking, in our parking? Like, no, hell no. So then he was like, and you guys, while all this is happening, I'm like, fuck, hopefully he doesn't fucking try to stab me. You guys, I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know where he's from. I don't know where he's coming from. Like, I don't know what the hell he's about. Like, all I knew was that he was like a close to 40 age guy, but he looked scary. I really don't think he was Hispanic, but who knows, But he for sure didn't speak no Spanish, so I don't know. But have you guys ever seen those like creepy guys that just come up and like are staring at you from far? Like he looked like that, okay? So I'm like, okay, whatever, And I'm telling him, and he's like, oh no, I apologize. I'm going to have a talk with her. Don't worry. Like, it's not ever going to happen again. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, well, thank you for apologizing, but it's kind of late now. This is something that happened months ago. And he's like, oh, she didn't even tell me nothing about it. And I was like, it's fine. Can you please not park in my parking? And that's it. So he's like, okay, yeah, don't worry. I'm sorry, whatever. So he parked like in the other side where I had told him a long time ago that was his parking. So he parks and then I was just in my car and I was about to get off and he's just staring at me. And the whole time, and I even looked back like to see if he was still staring at me, but I pretended like I was trying to lock my car, but I looked back and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is he still staring at me, So whatever, I go upstairs, drink my beer, go to sleep, whatever. You guys, a week later, I see the police downstairs. I'm getting home from work, you guys, at 1 a.m, close to 1. The police are downstairs and I'm like, what the hell is happening, guys? Like, we've never okay, so all the people that lived there, like, we all knew each other. Like, when I was 16, like, my neighbor used to take me to school, or like, the people upstairs, my brother was cool with like her sons. She had nothing but sons. And then like my mom was cool with their mom. Like, we all knew each other pretty much, right? So then everybody would be like, oh, that lady that lives there is kind of weird, huh? We were like, yeah. So then yeah, I see the cops, you guys, and I'm like, shit, what happened? And of course, being Hispanic, we're all metiches. So I'm like, I go downstairs and I park in my parking and I can hear stuff. And I hear like the cops saying, yeah, well, the only reason you're allowed to stay the 90 days is because of your kids. And I was like, what the fuck is happening, And then like, whatever. And I was like, I'm not about to walk upstairs once the cops leave. Like, I'm walking upstairs right now. The cops are there, because I was parked downstairs. And so I'm walking upstairs and then I can hear everything because they live below me. So yeah, so basically the cop was saying pretty much that they had a 90-day notice that they had to move in 90 days. And then I was like, what the hell? So you guys, the next day, the owner, I think he called. Yeah, because I don't think my mom was on email. I think he called her, or like our neighbor told us something. I don't remember. Point is that we found out that those people had broken into that apartment. You guys, that made so much sense to me, because when I found out that they had broken into that apartment, I was like, no freaking wonder they never knew their freaking parking, and they would always park in my parking, like, because they didn't know. They just broke into that apartment. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, you guys, the audacity that she had to not fight me, but argue with me so many goddamn times, like 2-3 times. And I'm like, my blood was boiling even more, because I was like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's her problem? Like, I think like if, me thinking like if like a burglar, I would try to not cause so much attention, and she did everything to cause attention. So I was like, how did they find out, And so I guess the reason they found out was because someone else in that building had complained about the lady or the guy, I don't remember. And I think it got to like the owner, and he was like, what the hell? Nobody's supposed to be living there, So then, yeah, the cops were called and everything, and they had like 90 days to move or whatever. So then after that, I would see their kids playing outside more often. I would see the lady would even kind of like she would not look my way. Like, she was so embarrassed, I can tell. And then the guy would like, oh, hi, how are you? And we would see them more often, because obviously they had already gotten caught, so they didn't need to hide anymore, So yeah, you guys. And then I guess after the time passed, they ended up moving. But you guys, I was so shook, because I didn't even think it was possible to live that long rent free. Like, you guys, it took months before they got caught. Like, I'm talking about maybe like a little more than half a year. And how did they not get caught before that? Like, the mailbox was right next to their apartment. The owner would always come and pick up the mail. Like, how did he not ever see or hear anything? I believe seeing, because like I said, they would always keep everything closed. But how did you not hear anything, I don't know, you guys, but that's my story time on one time when we had a creepy ass neighbor, and turns out that they had broken into that apartment. So, you guys, if you guys live in apartments, watch your surroundings, watch who lives next to you. You just never know. You can't trust no one. Like, it's scary because even to the day, I'm like, damn, like, I still can't believe that they got away with that. And the only reason why they didn't actually kick them out when the police showed up is because I guess they have, well, obviously they have kids, but I guess there's a law that if you have kids, no matter where you're living at, they give you a certain amount of time to find another place to live, and they won't kick you out because of your kids. So I was like, damn, I didn't know that. Now I know that, you know? So yeah, you guys, it was pretty scary because at the same time, it's like, damn, you don't even know who lives next to you. Like, it's crazy. Like, whether you live in a house or you live in an apartment, you have no idea who your neighbors are. And it's scary because at that time I was like, damn, there was burglars inside my apartment building and no one had any idea. Like, for all we knew, we had new neighbors and that was it. Like, we had no idea they had broken into that apartment. Like, how the hell did they break into that apartment and nobody heard? Like we were only 8 apartments and everyone would like kind of mind their own business, you know. We would talk to each other because we knew each other. Like, we met there and we became close, you know, and stuff like that. But it was just, I don't know, it was just mind-blowing to me how they didn't get caught like anytime sooner. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, you guys, so that's pretty much my story time, and I'm pretty much done with my makeup. As you guys can tell, I do put this so that I don't go further than I'm supposed to. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much my story time. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope lesson learned here is that do not trust people that live next to you or anything like that. Just don't even, like, I don't know, you guys, just be careful. You never know who's out there. You never know who's out there to try to hurt you or to try to see you, bring you down or anything, or to try to humiliate you, because that's what this lady was trying to do. She was trying to like humiliate me in front of everyone by yelling at me, and I was like, I'm not having it. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for always watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the next one.